There are a lot of labels that define us in our daily lives. In high school, I was a water polo player, swimmer, Ignite mentor, and student leader. These labels are what define us socially, what help make us known to the people around us. But you can never know someone's story through these labels. You can't know what kind of person they are or what kind of person they want to be. My story starts long before it was even my story. My dad immigrated here to America from India when he was only 10 years old. It was him, his two siblings, his mother, aunt, uncle, and their 3 kids. They all really struggled financially. This whole family had to fit in one tiny house, with all the kids giving up normal childhood experiences, normal teenage experiences, just so that they could work to support the family. But they built a certain kind of life together, a life where everyone was willing to sacrifice just to work towards a common goal. They were loyal, hardworking, and above all, put the family first. And I was lucky enough to be born into this family. I grew up seeing their bond, the way that they accepted each other's spouses, even the family of those spouses, the way that they all took care of each other and grew together and helped each other. My grandma moved in with us shortly after I was born. She did it just so she could raise me, so that my mom could go back to work and further her career, so that my dad didn't have to worry and he could move further along in his career. She played the role that a grandma isn't really expected to play. She took care of me, she picked me up from school, dropped me off, helped me with homework, helped me learn how to read. She did everything for me. And then my little cousins were born, and she did the same for all 3 of them. She took care of us after school. She did everything, just so that all of our parents, her kids, her children-in-law, just so that they could have the best possible life and best possible careers. And then my great aunt got cancer. Every family goes through hardships, but that was a really big one for us. We had to stay together through her chemo, her radiation, double mastectomy, and her impending death. We had to help her husband move past it, help each other move on and heal. We finally did. We all came together, we all stayed together, and we all healed. And years later, my grandma went through the same thing. Chemo, radiation, kidney removal, and eventually death. And that was the hardest thing I think we all went through. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, watching her pass away. I couldn't have made it through it without this family. My aunt and uncle talked to me, helped me through it. They showed me the kind of person that I aspired to be. My parents helped me as we had to watch the harder things. My great uncle sat with me with her in chemo every day. And that's the kind of family that I want to have when I grow up. That's the kind of person I want to be. There is unfailing loyalty and love. And there's never a question of if we would go to chemo, if we would help her through. It's only a question of what, when, how. So when I was young, when I was in high school, I was a water polo player, swimmer, Ignite mentor, and student leader. These labels carry so much weight in our world, and I know that they'll continue to. When I grow up, I know what labels will most likely define me to the world. Wife, mother, Pepperdine MBA, businesswoman, but in my world, I want to be what I grew up around. Unfailingly loyal, giving, and wholeheartedly loving and protecting my family. Earlier, I brought up the question of who we want to be, and that's what I want to be. I want to be what I learned to be from my family.